better than a barbecue. It's dignified, quieter. There are rules.
How is that better than a barbecue?
What's the dress code on this?
I'm glad you asked. Connecticut casual.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to this week's episode of Connecticut Casual. Join with me today is the Francisco of Ponces, the Matthew of Tree Nuts. We got DJ Chop Sauce, and returning guest, Jared Knapik. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. Thanks for having me. How are you? What an intro, my
so
God.
much energy now.
We're not napping on Knapik.
Thank God.
Nice with the
Hashtag
pun.
not napping on Knapik.
Do you make up the little? Was that off the top of your head with these guys?
That's always like it was when we first did it. It was all off the top of my head, but his girlfriend, fiance, but she loved that I called him the Francisco of Ponces.
Right.
And then we have Matthew, who's Matthew Almond, but it's
Tree
Matthew
nuts.
Almond, but I always have to put the D on the end because I just call him Matthew Almond.
Right.
And then he's just like, stop calling me that, so I called him Matthew Tree
Tree
Nuts.
nuts. Beautiful.
that was an actual original for today. That was off the top of the dome. And then we also got
Off the dome.
we got DJ Mitchie. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna call you. We got DJ Chop Sauce always, and we have him on a special microphone. You know, I love it.
Hey.
It's blue.
It is blue. I think
Today it's blue.
I know, right? Like Fran will be like, "I'm coming in early and I'm setting up," and then he'll like, I come in and like everything's different. I'm like, I have a black mic. It's my mic, and then the mics are over there, and I'm like, I don't want the red one.
It's just a fuzzy.
I don't care what it is.
Just a fuzzy.
You have to know. Come on, you're an artist, aren't you? Like, don't give me that microphone.
Well, dude, I've never had a problem with the color of the microphone, fuzzy or whatever you call it. But I don't think I've ever had to. I hate singing into these giant they're like pop filter type things for the windshields. I hate using mics that have these things on them. Something about it just feels like I don't know.
Restricting your creative freedom.
I don't know if it's that, but
Is that what you meant when you came in? You were like, definitely technology has been upgraded because these were not here.
From mics, I like the worst thing is when you have to at a gig, and this happens seldom, but when you have to sing into which has the ball grill, the 58 or 57? Which has the silver ball? You know that the most common microphone ever?
Condenser, I think.
Okay, so I think it might be the 58
Yeah.
that has the
7 is small.
grill.
Yeah.
The 7 is what you mic cap amps with, and it's just that conical. It's just a cone. I hate singing into that because it's like something very small for my mouth to aim at. I like either doing the ball grill or the I like those Sennheiser like flat fronts. You know what I'm talking about?
Hell no, man. You're
I
getting
know. They're like 30 something.
Yeah.
you're getting way too hardcore technical for me.
Please, dude, you set up gigs, you know.
I get confused about different.
That was all
brands of
Chauncey. He
washing
did it for me.
machines, bro.
you and me both.
You have to know, like, when I set up those gigs, dude, I would just, like, it's a lot like this. I would be like, okay, I'm going to assemble a team who knows what to do, and I'm just going to tell them to do what they do best. Like me, I'm just really good at talking to people and having a good time. This is what I do. And then you got Francisco, who's really good with numbers and is really good with just organization, and that's my like one of the things I'm really poor at. So he is like, we make the perfect. We're like the perfect man.
Dynamic duo.
Hell yeah, Wonder Twin powers.
Activate. You're the one who turns into water.
Whatever, I'm useless.
Dude, I'll say this: your poise and your charisma is off the charts right now. I mean, it's been good in the past, but this is something else. You're like a new person.
I just feel like I appreciate that, but I also just feel like I've been getting so much good feedback lately from the podcast.
As
like,
well.
We've been just having like a great time. By the time this episode comes out, we have I have another podcast that I do besides this, and it talks about anxieties, and it talks about living with anxiety and mental illnesses, and it talks about abuse. And by the time this episode comes out, I will interview my newest guest. Her name's Missy, and she's coming on talking about all the struggles of her abuse life, and it's empowering. And then you have other people who call up and call me and they're like, I love the show. This is amazing. Keep on doing it. And then I'm like, I'm feeling great.
Yeah, there you go. As you should.
It's like good energy.
Good for you.
And then, yeah, like I said, when I booked shows though, again, I assembled a team who knew what to do, and like that's why I don't know crap about anything. Like Chauncey was the man.
How's he doing? What's he up to?
He's doing great. I just talked to him. He's having a baby.
Oh, no
He's
kidding.
having a little girl.
Okay.
Love you, buddy. I hope everything's doing well. He bought a house. He lives out in Watertown.
Okay.
So he's having a good life.
Used to live there.
I know.
Yeah, I was about to say that's where I've always known him to be from is Watertown.
Yeah. But he bought a house.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's like, isn't that like the best feeling? Does anybody know that feeling yet?
I mean, when
you
I
bought a
got-
house?
Yeah.
Holy, you have your own house.
Yes.
I bought
Man.
my condo.
Oh, wait,
I have a homestead.
before we
I
started,
have
you're
property.
like,
Do you have a hearth?
I have land.
I
No hearth, no
I remember
fireplace.
My third house. That was the best one.
oh yeah, right. You got Matt Allman over here.
No, because like I was about to make a joke of how like none of us have bought a house, and I'm like, wait a minute, this guy's bought a house, and I'm just sitting here like,
Well, I mean, like,
Nice.
I look at you, Jared, and I'm like, he's not much older than me. Like, we had this like whole thing. You're like, yeah, you're a lot. How old are you?
I'm 28. I just turned 28.
You're 28. You make
Dude,
yourself sound like you were
way
in your
older
30s.
than you, dude.
Get the hell
Please,
outta
you're
here.
a baby at 26.
I'm like 26, about to be 27 in March. But I mean, like, I have kids, so I feel like I'm like 40.
They'll do that.
You have kids?
I do not, but so I've read.
I've read
things.
Not yet.
I've seen the memes.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, I tell my friends, like, have kids. They're great. Like, I always like, I'm like, friend, when are you gonna have kids, man? Have them soon.
And they're like, Chris, why are you doing that voice? You're pretty scaring me.
Is that your you should have kids voice?
Right, that's what I'm
come on,
saying.
have kids. Why don't you? They're the best. You can have all our hand-me-downs. There's not enough room in my apartment. Oh man.
I know it.
Dude, great dad. Like,
Thank you.
great dad. Like, oh my god, I love
I
you.
can see that.
I love my son. Sons.
I love my daughters. Like, I know we have like a different life. I have 2 daughters. He has 2 sons.
Similar ages or what?
Yes.
Yeah, almost exactly.
Yeah, like
It's awesome.
Emma and Ian are best friends. Like, cutest thing, we had a Christmas party. Wow, this is like going back, but after when this episode comes out, we had a Christmas party, and Emma looked dressed really nice, and then Nadia calls up, and she's just like, "Is Emma dressed nice? Because Ian wants to know." And I'm like, "Yeah, she's dressed really nice," and he's just like, "Mom, I have to dress nice."
This is a kid who's how old?
7. They're both.
Oh
seven.
They're
my
both 7.
God.
That's great.
So like they're best friends, and it's so cute to see that. And then I'm like, Ian wants to dress nice for you, Emma, and she was just like, and I'm like, yeah, he's your best friend, your best friend. I don't want to see these. Oh my god, when she was like in kindergarten, she was, oh my god. Imagine like when she's older and she comes back and like listens to these things, she's gonna be like, Dad, you're a bastard. But she was at her grandma's house, and we were like cleaning her room, because as you have kids, you have to clean their room when they're not home, or they just are like, don't throw that away. So we're like throwing away old
Not my
notebooks.
pie crust.
Yeah.
They're so sentimental.
And we're like looking through it, and I'm like, who's Anthony? And she was just like, I love Anthony. I'm like, no, you don't. Threw in garbage.
Dang.
And then he has a 1-year-old, and I have an 8-month-old. So
Wow.
they're like similar age too. They're gonna grow up together. Those two, we're going to arrange a marriage so that our houses can merge.
We'll join our houses.
We will join our houses.
You have a daughter. I have a son.
We will be home. We will be family.
The Half-Life homestead.
In the compound.
Yes, exactly. Because then, we would all have to merge our monies, and oh, man, it's gonna be a good time. I'm glad I finally gave you your jacket, by the way. 'Cause
Oh,
it's been-
dude, I know. I left that darn one of my finest Target brand Massimo windbreakers. I left it back when I did the podcast, like 3 months ago, something like that.
September.
September. Okay. Yeah. Man, was I lost without it, but I got it. And I was supposed to come here and get it like 3 times. I've played New Haven like 3 times since then. I forgot every time.
The wind must have been hell.
Oh, dude, it was brutal. It was brutal.
He's like, you see me? I'm only in a damn flannel.
I can't break anything with this. Except hearts.
Oh, Jared, the heartbreaker.
Clearly.
Oh, man. All right, Jared, I have to ask you a couple of questions because, that's what podcasts are, and you're the guest. But I have been super in love with your new song, Heart of Stone.
No kidding.
Yeah, I mean, like, because it's on our Instagram and it is the most viewed, and I think half of them are from me. But
Dang.
I just love that pickup, bro. That pickup you have, it brings me love and joy in my heart, dude. Like, I watch it, like, I'll just be like, I'm just gonna check that one part. And you're just like, oh, just love the whole, like, who directed that music video?
Dude, I was about to say, I'm glad you asked specifically about that because I mean, all I did was make the music, but the video itself is, I mean, I had no hand in that. I kind of told it was my friend Ronnie. His name's Ronnie Champagne. He's from Granby, and I'd never worked with him. He's been an acquaintance of mine for some time. He plays in a band called Sky Swamp Orange, and they're from. They're from the state. I don't know where the other guys live, but they're just in a very different scene than I'm from. So we never really crossed paths playing or anything. But very long story short is my usual kind of video guys weren't available to make this video, and I'd never done a full-fledged like music video before.
Yeah.
And I've always been very reluctant to do the whole performance video. I don't like the whole playing to the camera. It's just very artificial and awkward. And like if you guys don't know, you have to mime the song. I mean, you're playing it over giant speakers and you're miming the song. You have to mute all the drums as best you can. I just don't like the performance thing, especially like staring down the camera. Like it looks very vain and just kind of look at me. But there have been in the past a couple music videos that I really loved that did have performance shots of the band, but it just seems so tasteful, I guess. It seems like there's a spirit about it that lends itself to kind of the feeling of the song. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen a really great music video that you connect to that adds, let's say you already love the song on its own, but have you ever seen a music video, like your favorite one that like you think it strengthens the feeling of the song to you? I mean, I could think of several, so I sent him these examples.
Yeah.
And I was like, listen, because there's a narrative part to that music video. There's kind of a little story being told.
Where you're like writing in the notebook.
Right. There's that, which I knew I wanted to do. But then in order to kind of fill up more space, I wanted to have this performance shot. And I don't know, I'm a little too close to it to speak about it, but you could tell me, like, I think it came off very tasteful and not like, look at me. Like, it's.
Jared, I'm telling you, man, when I saw you in that music video, and I hope like you give us permission to like just show a little sample of it.
Show it.
Dude, we will. And when Evan is back. But post-production people will see it. But there's that part, man, where just that pickup, like I said, just it feels so, and like how you're dressed and stuff felt very Frank Turner-ish to me, man.
Sure.
So I know that's probably a compliment to you.
Definitely.
You like Frank Turner.
Oh, he's great.
And I just liked how clean it was. It wasn't like dramatized, like, because you see some bands who are like the performance piece is the center part, and it wasn't like over the top.
Yeah.
It was very just clean.
Yeah.
And it just felt normal. But like, just like you said, bands have to mime this. So when you know that's an actual fact of like being in the industry and knowing that that's a thing you have to do, when you see the performance parts that are over the top and like they're really involved, you just kind of like almost find it silly.
Oh, it's very silly. It's cringeworthy, and that's the last thing I wanted to have happen with this. But I mean, if I can say so myself, I think it came off in a very classy way. So I'm very happy with how it turned out.
Yeah, me too.
I'm glad you guys liked it too.
I'm like I was just super impressed, and
He killed it. Ronnie, shout out to Ronnie.
Ronnie, dude. I mean, even bring your band on the show sometime.
That'd be great.
But I won't lie, man. I've been digging it. Have you been getting a lot of positive feedback about it?
Everyone seems so far so good. Everyone seems to like it. Yeah, I had a lot of nice words about it.
This is your first full-length music video.
Definitely the first full length. I've done some kind of a long time ago on, I think, the very first collection of songs I ever put out, the very first EP. This is in like maybe 2010 or 11 or something. We shot another one. I don't even know that you could find it somewhere. It's not to the chagrin of this person who made it, but it's not to the same caliber of this one. This is the first really full-fledged, thought out, like storyboarded. We're a real well-oiled machine with what we're gonna film, and we did it all in one day. We did the performance first, then that whole narrative part at the train station and at my friend's apartment. Prior to this, for another song on this EP that just came out, we did one of those lyric videos.
Yep.
I had my friend Angelica make one of those, videos where like the lyrics pop up to the song on the screen and there's kind of thematic scenes going on, not stuff that we shot per se, but I did one of those too, which came out beautifully as well.
Yeah.
Even those are tricky.
Oh yeah, I mean I couldn't do that. I
I have a friend Becca who like she'll tell me like these take forever.
Yeah.
like to do like that like and like especially because a lot of bands are particular about how they want those shot because you want certain words to be like popped and blammed and you want like pop punk songs that come out. You want like the words to have funny followaways and it's like it drives like those artists crazy and they're very like we talked on one of our last episodes. Artists are so particular and you know like I always use Chop as an example. You know, this guy will make a beat and it is never good enough. And just like a graphic artist, like those are never good enough. And just like a songwriter, the song is never good enough. So it's like you can only imagine how much time it really has to take when you're on a deadline on stuff. It's
yeah,
like,
I could easily see that being the case. If I were the one making this music video, I'd probably drive myself nuts with the, the hunt for perfection, like you said. But because I'm not the one doing this, it's easy to just kind of, I put it in the hands of the most capable people I know, and I tell them what I'm going for, and then beyond that, I'm able to just kind of easily just remove myself from the process, and I trust these people, so then they knocked it out of the park.
absolutely. You know what? Pull up Heart of Stone, turn the music off. We'll cut away.
Yeah, no one wants to hear the music.
No, it's just like we'll put it in post production, but I want them.
The remote. I'm
I
grabbing the
want
remote there.
everybody to be able to.
Mute the TV.
I want them to be able to see exactly. I think it, like I said, it came out super well, man.
Yeah, it's cool. We're all in
YouTube?
suits. We're all it's on YouTube.
That's the one thing I really like too. You look fancy, man.
Hey, thanks.
You can rock a good suit.
What's it called?
It's called Heart of Stone from Jared Knapik. Like, hey, man, I was all invested in this song.
Thanks.
I mean, like I said, you know, I always try to put a little schmidbit of all of the artists who come on our stuff.
Schmidbit.
A schmidbit. Is that a word?
Trademark.
Trademark schmidbit.
Yeah. For somebody else.
Yeah, dude, it's just clean.
Hey, that's
bro.
you.
Wait, it's you?
I could probably sing this song for as many times as I have listened to it already. Just that.
There's your part, little
That's
kick it.
my.
You're
I
kicking.
love it, dude. You did so well, dude. That pickup was so good, and like the cutaways are perfect. And
Was the black and white a conscious choice?
Yeah, so we actually went back and forth. I suggested having to kind of draw a distinction between the performance part and the narrative part.
Okay.
I thought to have one be in color, fully saturated, and one be black and white. We went back and forth. At first, I envisioned the performance being black and white. And the Ronnie, who was directing it and filming it, he suggested to do it the other way around. And I think I'm very satisfied with it. I think it made this part, the narrative part, seem kind of like old-fashioned,
Yeah.
which I really
Well,
like.
it definitely makes a big
dude, I didn't realize how
distinction.
tatted up you were, man.
I didn't either. I guess so.
Those are added in post.
Oh, were they?
They're CG tats.
I'm like, well,
CG
I mean,
tats.
I guess because when we're sitting at the table, your arms are like this, and I don't really I look at people, you know what I mean? So I don't really just go, oh, you have nice tattoos. Like I didn't realize how tatted up you were until I watched this, and I was like, damn, man.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
I don't really see them anymore. I
know
lost
more,
track
right?
long ago.
I hear you. I mean,
How many do you have?
I lost track long ago. I have no idea. Closer to one, probably.
like he's over here.
One giant one.
We had a conversation. He has not gotten a single tattoo yet. It always weirds me out when people don't have tattoos now. I don't know what it is.
Is that right?
I don't know. I find it to be so
It's the hottest of takes. It weirds me out when people don't have tattoos.
Well, I feel like the new thing
It's
is
hilarious.
that before, having tattoos was like that, like, ooh, he's a rebel kind of guy. And now it's like so mainstream.
Oh, so we're a far cry from
Yes.
It used to mean something very different.
Exactly.
I
So now
agree.
you see, I'm sorry, Matt, you have people who don't have tattoos as like having the new tattoos.
Oh yeah, I don't trust this person anymore. They're too clean.
Can't
They're
stand
too innocent.
You're horrible.
Riddle me this.
Yes.
I want your opinion on this. Does a sleeve count as a single tattoo?
Well, I've seen a couple different. Here's what I don't love, and I'm just speaking for myself. Aesthetically, I don't like it when someone, and if you look for it, you'll notice. Like sometimes people go in, you'll notice this person had like no tattoos one day, and they go in and get it looks a very cookie cutter. They suddenly have a whole sleeve, and it means they must have done that in like a very small window. They must have done that in like a couple sittings. They literally go from having nothing to like one giant sleeve. And I get that some people do themed tattoos. I didn't do that. Some people, you'll notice, will have a whole arm or something that's like nautical themed or the Disney, like any theme. I didn't go that route. I got the like patch, because I started getting them when I was so young that I have the patchwork tattoos where for a while it just looked like prison tattoos. You ever seen that Ryan Gosling movie, Place Beyond the Pines? Anyone ever seen that movie? He's just got like prison tattoos all over. It looks like they're just sporadically placed. It's not like a full sleeve. But when you see someone that's like, it looks like one giant stick-on tattoo, they probably got it really quickly. And to each their own. I've never liked that. I like that kind of in-between phase where you're getting it and it's like a patchwork.
I guess what I mean is like at some point, like as you're doing it in pieces, you kind of see the individual tattoos for what they are.
Right.
But when you kind of like take a look back and you take it all in, do you kind of view it almost like one big tattoo?
Well, for the amount of pain I went through, I would tell people the number of tattoos I got. I would say I got this many. But similar to what we were saying earlier, like I have no idea. I mean, I not that I ever kept count at all, but when you have 2 or 3 or 5 or 6, it's easy enough to remember that I got this many. But at this point, I have, it's been so many years, I have no idea. So I joke and say like it's closer it's more like I have closer to 1 tattoo. But what you can see here, I sat a bunch of different times for them. So a lot of different sittings of pain.
I'm so young compared to Jared that I still have the just spotted tattoos.
I like that though, dude. If I could go back in time, I'd do that.
I think what I wanted, I've always said, I just want symmetry for my arm. So now, I don't want to connect them because my artist he tells me, it's just like, oh, we could just put some fluff. We'll like,
filler they call it.
Yeah,
People do that.
It up, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. I'll keep them patched out.
I like that.
I just want symmetry on each one, so I have to get in here. And I have to get right here to just have perfect symmetry on both. And then my legs, because I just hate them, those will be what I would decide to maybe connect. But that's, again, like I'm always wearing jeans, so I really don't care about those. But I have my ideas for like my anime tattoos.
Oh, there you go. You know what I told myself one time long ago when I'd gotten I think I'd gotten a color tattoo on one arm and the other one was bare for a while, and then I got a black tattoo, a black and gray tattoo. For a very short while, I thought it would be cool if I did one arm color and one arm black and gray. Oh my God. And I was like, that would be cool. And then I very quickly was like, color tattoos look way cooler. So I just ruined that. I got a color tattoo in.
No. I mean, like my one, I only have one splotch of color, and it's this one. And I took this rip off that stupid classic picture that you see like in shitty hotels. I don't know what you would say, but it's that whole like love and those two people. But I designed it I took the image and then decided to have my artist flavor it up. It's my grandparents. It's my grandfather in his Air Force uniform and my grandmother in her like actual favorite dress. And then she had a blue umbrella. So that was my little homage to them. And this tree.
It's awesome.
I added that to it, and that's the one they're buried underneath together. So it's like my little like, oh, I love you guys. You know what I mean? So it's like my little like, I'm like, people are always like, I have that picture in my room. I'm like,
I got
whatever.
That picture everywhere I go.
You got that sick giant Bayside tattoo too.
Dude, this is my one I'll never regret.
Oh yeah.
I love them. Like,
I love that band too.
There's something about Anthony's lyrics that will never ever like. He's probably the only like lyricist I could listen to. One of the only lyricists. I can't say that about it, but his music never gets old to me. And like you could just hear what he's going through in every word he writes.
Yeah,
like,
I just missed them. They came around here just a couple weeks ago, I think. I missed them a month ago.
Don't you tell me that because that means I missed them.
I'm sorry. Well, we missed them.
I saw the one show I will always remember from Bayside was right before my girlfriend and I got together. It was like my last hurrah almost, but my buddy Joe, this kid Justin and I, we went up to New York, and it was the 10-year anniversary of Killing Time.
Oh yeah.
Or was it Killing Time? Yeah.
That's one of my favorite records.
But
that would have just happened though. That would be very recent because Killing Time came out about 10 years ago.
No, not Killing Time. It was either that or oh my God, it was either
or that Shudder or like Walking Wounded or like Self-Titled.
All I know is that they played. Nope, it was It was Walking Wounded,
Okay.
and they played that and Shudder in their entirety, and they even like stop the show at one point and they go, "This is funny because we never play half these songs on Shudder live,"
Right.
Which was super cool. So I'm getting to see like some of my favorite songs from my one of my all-time favorite Bayside songs. What's your all-time favorite Bayside song?
It's probably off Killing Time because that's the first record, which seems a little late to get in, late in the game to get into them.
Yeah.
My first record I really got into them was Killing Time. Off that record, there's so many good ones. Mona Lisa is the one that changes key like a million times. Already Gone is like the single off that record.
Yeah.
I like all those songs.
Yeah, like my first like introduction of Bayside was hearing the song "Blame It on Bad Luck." Got really hardcore into that album. Then I listened. I was just like, you know what? I could see everyone would love this song for what it is. So I'm like, I want to take a real deep track on them. And so I listened to "They're Not Horses, They're Unicorns," and that's off the I believe Walking Wounded album. And just this one lyric where he goes, "As angry as I sound, that's just the way I cover up how I feel. I've been this way for years and years. I'm a slave to broken hearts and sex appeal." And I was just like, "You bastard."
He gets me. He gets me. Who hurt you?
You bastard. I know you.
Yeah, I love that dude.
Oh yeah, man. That's just, I mean, so I had to give them such a big part of the arm.
How do you
because-
guys feel about the whole playing a record in its entirety thing? That's so popular right now.
Yeah.
You like it?
I like doing that.
Everyone?
I only ever listen to like the middle of a record. I just take the needle and I go to the middle part, and then when it's done, I take it off and I go, "There we go."
I think you're missing out on a large portion of the record, but okay.
It's an artistic statement.
I understand.
Clearly.
I have very mixed feelings about it. Really the only thing I do like about it is that you're gonna get to hear these deep cuts that you never otherwise would hear.
Yes.
Besides that, I don't like not being surprised by I like the surprise at the set list. So I don't love and it's not even because, a lot of people make the argument it's like a cash grab when a band goes out on a 10-year anniversary or a 15-year. That doesn't bother me at all. They should.
Yeah.
I think they should be making all the money they can. I just don't like not being surprised by the set list. But one of the best examples is because like when bands will do this, I've heard so many friends be like, "Oh, I'm not going to go to the show because it's a 10-year anniversary for this record and I don't love that record." But like people are acting as if they're not going to play other songs besides that. They're definitely going to, if they're headlining, like they're not playing a 10-song set list. They're going to play twice as many songs as that. So like I saw the Gaslight Anthem play their record, The 59 Sound. I went all the way to DC to see it a year ago or 2 years ago, and then I went to the Boston one, and they did it the exact way I would want to see it because I don't want to see them open up with the record because that's anticlimactic. That's no surprise. And then I don't want to see them play the last song on that record and have that be the end of the show because that's also no surprise. So what they did is exactly what I would have wanted to see. They came out and they played like 4 random like just deep cut songs. Then they completely acknowledged we're gonna now celebrate this birthday of this record and play it through.
Yeah.
So then no one's surprised by that. And then at the end of that, they also played 5 more surprise songs. So that's how I'd want to see it done.
Oh, I could, so unfortunately, like me, man, I don't get a chance to go to shows anymore. Like having kids now, it's so. Like when Crystal and I get a chance to go out, we're like down the street at the bar, grabbing a bite to eat and going home. You
Sure.
know what I mean? Like that's our life right now.
Right.
So I couldn't tell you the last time I was actually able to go to like a show or anything. That's why I miss so many great locals, and now I'm trying to like make the time again because I used to feel like I was a huge member of the Connecticut scene. And now I'm like, I've taken this huge hiatus of going to anything and being a part of anything. So now I feel like crap. And I'm like, I see like, this one band I used to book a lot, Values or something. They're like doing their last show in January.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, I'm going to stop by. I'm going to make it a point to stop by to that one and say hi,
Good
to
on you.
everybody.
Where are they playing?
I believe, I'll check it out real quick. They are in
They're from around here, you said?
yeah, I know some of them lived in Mass. I just turned my phone off because I'm so scared that my alarm for Instagram's gonna pop off. They'd be like, post, and I'm like, ugh. But yeah, I know that I think a couple of the members are just moving, so like they're just, calling it what it is and bouncing. But yeah, I've always felt so bad because like, and then I miss Bayside and stuff, but listening to albums in their entirety now is like my way of feeling deeper connection with them.
I feel that, yeah.
And so it's like, oh yeah, like all these tracks that come out, I'm like, oh my God, like I love it. Like when I got to hear Bayside's new album, it was just fantastic. Like, and I didn't realize that I would have never, if I just kind of listened to the hits on the album, I would never realize the last album on the song. And I got to remember the name of the album now.
This is Interrobang? I haven't heard this one yet. I didn't listen to it yet.
Oh my God.
I liked Vacancy a lot, the one before it.
Vacancy was great,
Loved
but
it.
you had Anthony going through what he was going through writing
true.
that, so it was a lot of deep cuts. But on Interrobang, White Flag, and I wish we could play stuff. Damn claim culture, but they have so many. Like just their lyrics. He attacks. He doesn't even attack. He questions religion and puts it out there in such like this very like way where you want to just. You're like, oh, I can really see his point of view. Like he had, what song was it? Dear Your Holiness. Like kind of also like, he has this one line in a song where he's just like, they're so mad, so they dress you up in all these different names. Meaning that like we're fighting these wars of religion over the same type of philosophies that everyone's just like we want to live good and be good, but instead we just fight about the actual names of what's happening.
Sure.
And I find that he writes those types of things in this hidden type, and maybe that's just the way how I interpret it, because like our last conversation we had, interpretation of music is all about oneself, and I find that that's what his message is, and I love it. I just think that he has such a beautiful like way he goes at stuff. Like he has oh my God,
I gotta listen to this
listen
record.
to it. It's just it's like I could talk about it forever. Like we're over here just like Bayside's great. I'm trying to the Values Farewell show is on January 18th. So and they're playing at the Thomaston American Legion.
Whoa, all right.
So and Thomaston American Legion, the Tank, Feeding Hills, Massachusetts.
Yeah, it's right over the border.
All right. Well, looks like
That's close to me.
Hey, you have to come with me.
I will, dude, in a
Let's
heartbeat.
go together. I'm gonna message you that day and be like,
Deal.
"Come on, Jared, we're just gonna go."
Deal. As long as January 18th, as long as Seinfeld trivia is in that night, then I'm down.
Seinfeld trivia.
Dude, we just did so I've been waiting my entire life to do a Seinfeld trivia because that's the only thing that I think I could dominate in, and we did dominate. We just got first place in it like I don't know, a couple weeks ago. But like I've never seen it come around, and then all of a sudden, I don't know if I just thought to like search on Facebook like Seinfeld trivia and look for events, but there's like several coming up like in the next month that I'm gonna try and do, and hopefully just keep the crown.
That's that Facebook algorithm.
That's right.
Awesome.
What's Kramer's father's name?
They never say his father. Babs is his mother. They never say his father's name. Yeah.
Damn, on the spot. Nice.
I mean, so I always wanted to do an office trivia night.
Oh, dude, those happen. I've seen that happen.
I mean, and they're a lot probably more come around. 'Cause
Probably,
of how the show had this massive fandom, went from a cult following to like this mainstream pop culture, and I think a lot of it had to do with like I'll get into that later, but just meme culture made meme culture made The Office big because it had a cult following for a long time. But the day I'm like, we're gonna go to Office trivia was the day my daughter was born, and I was like,
there you go.
never gonna get a go.
So close.
I was.
Would you just dominate? In Office trivia?
I could probably do whatever from like episode name to like just like situation.
What's the name of the 5th episode?
I want to say it's basketball, where
Could have said just about anything right there.
Look this up.
I just watched The Office today before coming here.
diversity.
Diversity training?
It's either basketball or hot girl.
Wow.
Let's see.
Dude, don't. It's like me and
That-
SpongeBob.
Is that your thing, SpongeBob? You can name any. That's like your forte.
Basketball.
There are,
Hey!
I gotta give it to you, man. That was impressive.
I am, man. I love The Office.
there are moments where I will like enter an altered state of consciousness where if you ask me a SpongeBob question,
Really?
I will just start reciting the episode.
Whoa.
What happened in the 8th episode of SpongeBob?
Let's see. So it's season 1.
Okay, so far so good. Season 1.
Yeah.
Season
Season 1, episode 1 is Help Wanted. I think that's like Is that the one where they meet Sandy for the first time?
No idea. Let's check.
Pull it up.
Don't ask me.
It's on
Do you want to
Netflix,
know
right?
something? I love SpongeBob is such a big part of my girlfriend and my relationship, and it's such a silly thing. But when her and I first said "I love you" to each other, we both were just like Patrick Star chocolate episode. I love you. And we were just like the other night. She's gonna hear this episode come out like next month and be like, "Chris, you did. We did do that." But like the other night, like we were just passed out. We're like doing SpongeBob references to each other. And I don't know. I love her so much.
Here we are.
Like the tree
List of episodes.
But yeah, he was right. Episode 5 of The Office is basketball.
Dang, there you go.
Yeah, man.
Is that where they challenged the warehouse?
Yes. Oh, such a.
Episode 8.
People always like hate like the first season, but it has some of the.
Hate the first
such a-
season. I love the
it's
first
good.
season.
It has such the driest humor. Like I love like subtle stuff where he's just like he's just like, who's down to play basketball with me? Obviously Stanley. And then he goes like, why
Why is that
obviously?
obvious? Yeah.
Oh, I think that's the one where they're blowing bubbles to each
Yeah,
other.
today Oscar was like, "Why do you assume they speak Spanish?" Talking about the cleaning crew because they locked themselves in.
They just so happen.
He's
to
like, "I don't know.
speak
They
Spanish."
just so happen to. We really lucked out."
Yes. I love it. That show.
I love that show too.
It's my Seinfeld. Like
Yeah.
I know Seinfeld was your big thing, and I wish I feel like
Well, we're worlds apart in age. It's understandable.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
bound to happen.
decades. But yeah, dude, The Office is just like one of the best shows. But obviously, I want to say like, and I'm gonna go on record and say it.
Oh, boy.
What got The Office to be its fandom, its huge fandom, was the meme of fire safety episode part 1 is where Dwight lights a fire in the office and the entire like office is in panic, and people use that clip for like when people would be like, Donald Trump wins the presidency. Like people were like, oh my God, it's happening. Oh my God, stay fucking calm. Like, and it's them like running out, or it's like just this like massive like horribleness of stuff is happening, and that meme would pop up. Like, and so I decided to like take deep dive and research, and the number one, look it up, just verify, I'm pretty sure. But the number one watched episode is Fire Safety Part 1.
Dude, you're the young Jamie of this
Yes.
podcast. Just
He
fact
is.
checking
He's-
everything.
He's my Jamie. But we like him on main camera because he's just,
As he should be.
you know, he
That
deserves-
mug's not meant to be covered.
He'll never escape his crimes.
Plus, he's the only one who wears our merch.
I am the only one who knows the merch.
Give me a
I
button.
would
Give
if
me
I
a
could
button.
do my laundry more often.
Huh? If you
Buttons are coming.
Give me a button. I'll put it right here.
During that fire safety, is there a cat in the office? Angela
Yes,
throws a
Sam
cat
Bandit!
up through the board there.
Ceiling.
Yeah, the
Please tell
ceiling
me
there.
I'm right.
Ceiling
because
tile.
I was. Yeah, Stress Relief Part 1.
Stress relief.
It's not fire safety. It's when Stanley has a heart attack. It's stress relief. He's just like, you can't die, Stanley. Barack is president.
What a show.
22.9 million viewers.
And it's because, man, it's because that.
What's that
first
mean?
part-
When it aired, or what? What do you think? What's that figure? That statistic? Is that? You think like when it aired, or?
I think.
In its original broadcast.
Yeah, it is not bored.
On February 1st.
I think
Oh,
since.
wow, that's
probably since.
Tons of viewers. I've never paid attention to viewership. Like I don't know what's good and what's bad. Except I remember because I was huge into The Walking Dead. I was big time into that show.
Did you watch Fear the Walking Dead?
I did watch it.
What did you like better?
Oh, definitely liked regular Walking Dead better.
You did?
But I did, but like up until, and I don't mean to be that person that's like I like the old records better or whatever.
Let's do
but
it.
that
Let's get
show,
into this.
oh, I mean, The Walking Dead
I got
took
some
a
stuff to talk about
massive
Walking Dead, man.
downturn.
I felt like
Literally
it just became so
from
repetitive, man. It
It's
was always
that-
like new place, bad guy. Screws
Right.
bad guy over.
it's very much that.
Leaders, new place, bad guy. Screws bad guy over. New place.
Right. And the thing is, up until they kill, I don't know what's the statute on this. Up until they killed that major character,
Who's the-
Glenn? I said it. Up
that
until
was-
then,
it's been years
It's been
ago.
years. That's what I'm saying. But up until then, I never had any problem or like qualm with the show with where other people seemed to. Meaning, when the show first aired, I had so many friends fall off the wagon. They're like, "Oh, the season 2, like The Farm, this is so slow." I was totally on board.
love
I was
The Farm.
fine with it. I
Farm was
loved
great.
all of that. Then it got to be like the prison. They're
First
like,
show was
they've
the
been
old
at the prison too long, and I feel like I still like the show. And then they'll be like, and the part of the show that was the most interesting to me is when they got to that terminus place. I was on the edge of my seat for that. That was very
Yeah.
tense. I loved that. That's like
That was a
season
good season.
4 or 5. I loved everything up until that point. I never disliked the show. And then when they killed Glenn, I mean, I could be biased because he's one of my favorite characters. He's probably my favorite character. But after that, I think there was a noticeable like rapid decline. I was like, what is the show anymore?
Well, the show, like, so just because I really liked that show.
I really
as well,
liked it. Yeah.
But Glenn was supposed to, they killed Glenn the right way. He
Sure,
dies that
sure.
way in the comic book.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
You know when
I don't
the-
care about that. I don't care about the comics changing.
Hey, you know when The Walking Dead went downhill? When they made it a show.
Here we go.
I
This
really
guy
liked-
is the resident comic book freak.
What I really liked between Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead was Fear the Walking Dead was more motion. There was more moving. There was more path. It felt like there was more of a path than there was in Fear the Walking Dead or in Walking Dead.
Interesting.
That's
I don't
why
know
I
that I
like
would
it
say
a
there's
little
more
better.
emotion. I definitely liked Fear the Walking Dead as well, so I very much liked it. I didn't stop watching that show because I disliked it. So they crossed over some characters. Remember that? Did you still watch it?
No, I only
Okay.
watched the first 2 seasons.
Oh wow. Okay, they crossed over several main characters from the
Okay.
main show to the new one, and I think something about me losing investment in their main show made me lose investment in the spinoff. But it's a damn shame.
They lost me. They lost me in Walking Dead as soon as the people started dressing up as zombies.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I was just like, if that's a thing, then why hasn't this been a thing since the first season? Like if I could just put on a zombie suit or some zombie skin and just
Yeah.
be able to just like
Well-
roam around with a pack and just chill and like no problems.
haven't even gotten that
I mean,
far.
Michonne did it in the beginning where she wore the guts and she was able to travel with them. So like I don't know. I just feel
Oh,
like
what's
very
his name?
strange.
Counterpoint. Hey, I have a phone which now works. You halfway across the country start dressing like zombies. They didn't organize it. It's just like one group of people who decided to do this thing because they're weird.
Strange.
It's not like widespread.
That's where I lost it.
I feel like it just lost its flavor after where it lost me was where what's her name, Sasha tries to kill
Negan? Yeah.
He after that part
You mean by zombifying herself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And granted, Negan hadn't died in the comic at that point yet
Yeah.
either. So it was hard to kill him off. And I know that the writing was really weird because they still, as much as they got off the comic a lot, they still tried to keep the narrative around the same loosely, yeah. But not being able to kill off a major villain. Also, Maggie was supposed to be something bigger. It was just a big mess of stuff. So
I really like the actor who played Negan. I thought he did it.
He's great.
Negan
Jeffrey
very well.
Dean
Phenomenal.
Morgan.
Jeffrey
He's
Dean
the
Morgan,
man.
baby.
He's a great
He did a
actor.
phenomenal job.
I wonder what
Thomas Wayne himself.
I wonder what these movies are gonna be like. These Netflix Rick Grimes movies. That's what they're doing. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. He left the show and he's gonna do 3 separate movies. Is what I'm told. That's what I'm told.
Oh, Andrew Lincoln. I thought you meant like.
Yeah, no,
why
Andy
did they
Lincoln.
gonna make movies about Rick Grimes for? It's like, oh, you meant Andrew Lincoln.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
just gonna make. He's free. He can be in stuff now.
Right.
I just those I think The Mandalorian is the new big show and that's what everyone's on.
It definitely is.
Are you loving it?
No, I haven't watched it.
Oh, you
I haven't seen a
do
thing
you-
about it.
Do you not? Are you not a Star Wars guy?
I
or-
am a very big Star
Yeah, I
Wars
noticed on
guy,
that arm right
but
there.
the thing exactly. Oh, that's my newest. Prior to this, I haven't gotten a tattoo in a long time.
okay.
My friend Erica just did this prison style stick and poke, this
Oh,
little
nice.
Rebel Alliance symbol. I love for a stick and poke. It is clean. I agree. I love Star Wars, but I don't dig into all that. I've never done any of the reading. The original movies are just like my childhood, so I'm big into those. I just don't know any of the extended universe stuff. I just haven't watched The Mandalorian because it's okay. You'll live. Different strokes for different folks. That's all right.
Jared coming in strong.
We'll get you educated. Don't worry.
No, I have no interest in that. I haven't watched the biggest show ever yet. I haven't watched The Mandalorian. I may at some point. I have no idea.
They do a really good job with it.
I'm sure
It's
they do.
it's
I'm not
like
I'm not
super
Star
Star
knocking it
Wars
at all.
lore-y.
Sure. No, I'm not knocking it at all. I'm sure it's great. I just even with the new films, I've seen them all and I enjoy them. But I've come to terms long ago that I won't like anything the way I loved the original
Yeah,
movies.
you
it's
can't beat
just not gonna
nostalgia.
happen.
You can't compete
Yeah.
against
Yeah.
nostalgia.
I get that. I just I feel like Disney's doing a very good job with The Mandalorian. Just an actual good show, and it captured me right from the first episode. They know how to capture you with this series. So because there's some granted some days because I try my best to keep up with the extended universe of Star Wars, but we get into
All these books that I've seen at Barnes and Noble for the last 15 years of my life, are these all like canon. You know those books that the books I'm talking about. I swear they're like a certain brand. They're like those fat little kind of like short.
They're not.
They're not. Okay.
Well,
Some are, but whatever Disney now calls canon is canon.
Okay.
So it's like my thing is like if you want extended universe,
Right.
And you want the cut and dry, get Disney Plus. Anything that's in Star Wars on Disney Plus is canon right now.
Interesting.
That's any actual show,
Right.
Not just
Fascinating.
books, like not stuff like that. But if you want the actual canon experience for viewership, you can watch it on Disney Plus. And some of the lore is hard, like because I personally, and I'll get crap from this right now from this gentleman, but I'm not the biggest fan of the animated series. Like
I've never
it's
seen
like
the animated
pulling
series.
teeth on some stuff.
You don't like the Clone Wars?
I do not like Ahsoka. I think
I love it.
little kid Ahsoka drives me absolutely bonkers, and I think it's just the most childish thing I'm watching. And I'm like, why am I sitting here watching this? And I'm a man who watches friggin' anime, for God's sakes. Like, and I'm watching this show, and I'm like, this sucks.
well, here's the thing. Everybody said that. You are everybody who watched that show when it was coming out said that. And then by the end of it, they went, we need her. We need her. Oh my God, we need her so bad. This is great. She's a great
Ahsoka.
character. Because you know what happens to little kids? They grow up.
Okay, whatever.
Ooh.
But
Lawyered.
is that in How I Met Your Mother?
Yes. I know.
That's a great show
I
too.
love that
I
show.
love
too.
that show. Phenomenal show.
I mean, it's definitely a Friends ripoff, but it's a good show. It's a Friends ripoff.
I love both those shows.
Friends is great. I started recently doing the whole Friends with no laugh track. And it's probably one of the funniest things.
Well, wouldn't
I've
you say that Friends is just a Golden Girls ripoff? It's just friends hanging out.
No, because Friends was the first. Like, I think that Seinfeld had the actual take, but I think Friends was the first like real big pop culture-y, like friends hanging out in New York, these like interconnected love interests and stuff like that. Was one of the first shows of its time that really nailed it. Like,
So it's like Seinfeld is a soap opera.
no, I think Seinfeld is a great comedy.
I mean, there's sitcoms with Friends. There's Cheers, well before
Cheers,
those.
there we
So,
go.
and I don't love Cheers, but it's a show.
But if you like,
Frasier.
if
And then
we're
Frasier beat them all.
Oh, I do.
we're-
I do not like Frasier, and I know that a lot of people do like it. And I'm sure it is funny. I have too much association with it being like on when I was too young to appreciate it. So I just have this. I picture it as being this like old person show that I can't appreciate.
It's designed for people with just massive IQs.
Yeah, that's what it is.
oh, you're also talking about like again.
Get it.
This is Matthew Almond Tree Nut Hazelnut.
Hi.
He likes very certain things.
Oh
where
yeah, I'm very particular.
he's
about-
very particular. He is a comic book man. He will
Comic
prefer
book man,
comics pretty much before the shows, apparently. And then also, I'll be like, hey, Matt, what do you think about this song? And I'll be like, actually, Christopher, I'm still listening to the Beach Boys on vinyl. Like,
That's not like a point of pride. The Beach Boys aren't exactly complicated. I just like Brian Wilson's a sad guy, and you can tell in these happy songs that he's having to fight back the depression.
Struck a nerve.
right.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I'm like, I
It's
get
like
it.
it's a song about like, oh, like we're going to the beach and we're having fun, and it decided to call for help, and it's like, oh.
However, you know what show held the same place to me as Frasier in the sense that when I was young, I didn't appreciate it. I didn't like the way it was drawn. It seemed boring and like too. I don't know. I just did not appreciate it when I was young, and now I love it. Is King of the Hill. That cartoon I think is so
my
funny
God.
now.
It is
And
the
when I was a kid, I was like,
funniest show.
I don't care for this style.
Exactly.
But I was just
but
stupid.
I think once I got into The Office and I appreciated dry humor,
Yeah, King of the
I
Hill's
started
so
appreciating
funny.
King of the Hill.
They made a Naruto King of the Hill meme.
Yeah, I've seen
was
it.
phenomenal.
I've seen like
I'll
the,
sell chocolate and chocolate accessories.
I just love. I love that. What King of the Hill is just an all-American dad trying to raise his son the right way.
Such a good show, though.
Done. Like
Freaking love
easiest
that
way to
show.
do it, but I love the grandpa.
Oh yeah,
Just
yeah.
because he's just
The
like,
grandpa.
Cotton, yeah.
My favorite episode is the
He's got no
YMCA.
kneecaps, right? He's got no kneecaps or something.
damn Viet Cong coming down on my shins.
God.
He's got like the hot wife. Hot wife. She's not. You know, DD.
Hank Hill medically has no ass.
That's right. Yeah, the tractor lawnmower
He also has
Got
a
it.
episode.
narrow urethra. Such a good show.
But didn't Peggy make us like
Oh my-
mustard gas on accident?
Yes.
I mixed the cleaning power of bleach with like the whitening. No, the cleaning power of ammonia with the whitening power of ammonia and bleach. Peggy, that's the recipe for mustard gas.
I just love her. She's just like, I'm Peggy Hill, substitute Spanish teacher extraordinaire. Like,
Dang, a fire Peggy impression. And that wasn't about a Hank either. Dang.
I love the
boys ain't right.
Bobby with the when he goes to the YMCA to take a woman's defense.
Yeah, that's my
self-defense.
purse. I don't know you.
I don't know you.
Classic.
And he's playing the video games, and it's like, Bobby, go clean your room. In a minute. So
man,
funny.
That show's just like, I know what you're saying. I didn't care for it as a child.
Yeah,
either.
it just like rubbed me the wrong way for some reason. And
remember
now I
this
think it's
girl-
hilarious.
This girl I talked to like in 8th grade was just like, we were like used to talk on the phone every night, and she was just like, King of the Hill's so funny. I'm like, you're pathetic. And I got older, and I'm like,
Jeez.
I love it. I don't even talk to you anymore, but I'm sorry I said that to you.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm the pathetic one. Oh my god. I feel like
humble.
I'm glad that this is a full episode. We're not doing a crew part, so we have more time with you. Because we get into these riffs together. Yeah. We talk about music, and then it just goes into shows just like last time. So a couple of things before,
That's my fault. I'm sorry.
what song are we playing today on this week's episode?
I mean, we showed the video. Do you want to do Heart of Stone?
Of course. Do you want to do the video?
Why not?
Let's
People
do the
deserve to
full
see
video.
stuff.
All right, guys. We're going to be right back. This is Heart of Stone from Jared Knapik, the official music video. It's amazing, and I love it.
You cut your hair as if it weren't hard enough already to picture your face. You are fading every single day, my dear. The blackest hair to match your heart and help you disappear out in the twilight or just anywhere but here. Just anywhere but here. You were more to me than words could ever say, and my heart just can't convey, and time will never change. But I cared for you like I just can't explain, but you never felt the same. Now as strangers drift apart, just like time you slipped away. I hear your voice, but it isn't quite the same, and now something's changed. It's just an echo of a distant memory. I shout out into the night, but just the howling wind. It answers me and nothing else. You couldn't wait. You couldn't wait to be anywhere but here. You were more to me than words could ever say, and my heart just can't convey, and time will never change. But I cared for you like I just can't explain, but you never felt the same. Now as strangers drift apart, just like time you slipped away. I hope you never have to know the way this feels. I hope no one ever leaves your heart with its vacancy light always on, but its doors and windows boarded up for good. Please just treasure what you took. The soul of mine is hardened to the grave, but a heart of stone still breaks and feels and aches and reels. Oh my dear, if I could I would change. Oh, I run and run but can't escape. How I care for you but I just can't explain, but you never felt the same. Now as strangers drift apart, just like time you slipped away.
song. That was Heart of Stone from Jared Knapik, the song that I've been raving about this in pretty much the beginning of this episode until we got into the TV shows. So, because, we have a little bit of time left, I really want to take a deep dive into this. I know that you're not the kind of guy who likes to, tell that, again, the expression and stuff, but what was the basis? Like, what was the first part where you being like, I know how I'm going to start this?
You mean the song or the record?
The song.
Okay. Well, if I remember correctly, so I think at first it started off on an acoustic guitar, the way most of the songs do. And I had that palm muted part, the intro of the song, like you said, before it all comes in with the full band. I had that kind of palm muted intro. And when I got to the part where it kind of gets a little more raucous, I was playing it on acoustic guitar. And it was okay that way, but I was in the midst of making this kind of so this song is off of a EP that just came out like a week ago. It's 6 songs. It's kind of like a long EP, but too short for a full length. And the EP is largely full band. There's only one song that's truly just an acoustic song. But when I was doing Heart of Stone, like I said, I was writing it, and I didn't know exactly how full bandish the song would become. And as you saw, you listened to the song and saw the video, like it's a total full like rock song. Yeah. But I didn't know at first, because sometimes I like to play with dynamics in just acoustic guitar songs. I still do palm muting on acoustic guitar, but it felt like it was lacking something by not having that big like drum, intro and stuff like that. So.
Dude, how did it go? How do you like write with? Because I know you're particularly like you're you. How did you work with these other people? Like, is this also like a band that you perform live with going forward, or are these just guys for the music video?
Oh, so we just played a show with the lineup that's in the music video. It's my brother Dustin on guitar. Nice. It's my friend Dan on bass, and then Tyler on drums. Dan and Tyler played on the record. Dustin did not. But we just played a show like we were talking about a week ago, just over a week ago, kind of a little record release show. And we'll do more. With the full band, it's kind of like when I get them, I get them. I think we probably talked about this last time, like the whole reason I play solo so frequently is really just out of necessity. It's not that I choose. I do like playing solo. There's a certain charm to that, but they each scratch different itches. I've been craving to play with the full band for a long time now. Because that scratch, there's an itch that scratches, feeling just from the amps and the drums behind you, you can feel that air being moved. It's a different feeling. Yeah. And when I do that for a certain amount of time, then I'll kind of long for the acoustic thing again. So I like them both. I only play solo so frequently because it's so much easier. I can book a tour myself and not have to schedule 3 other people's schedules. Yeah. That's a nightmare. So I can imagine. We're definitely this lineup. I think will play more shows. It's easy for Dan and Tyler because they played on the record, so they just kind of had to brush up on the songs that they recorded. And you're looking like you're going to start touring again in the spring? I'm definitely touring again in the spring. Awesome. If all goes according to plan, I'll tour more this coming year than ever before. That's awesome. If I can get the band on the road, that'd be great. If not, it'll be just me, which is I'm no stranger to. But yeah. I want to send somebody out with you one time. Just be like, go just film Jared on the road. Oh, dude, come out with me, guys. Come out. Yeah, right? Matt, sorry. I could use a vacation. There you go. Man. If a vacation to you is sleeping on floors and possibly not knowing where you're sleeping that day, then boy, can I help you out. That sounds like an adventure. There you go. I'm going on an adventure. Will there be power outlets? If we're lucky. Oh my God, Jared, you're making it sound like a miserable experience. It's not miserable. It's just a very acquired taste like this. It's a very acquired lifestyle. To tour on the small DIY level is just, like I said, sleeping on floors. It's not like the glamorous tour bus that you picture, but it's got a certain charm to it. Yeah, one day, hopefully. For sure. And then my last little topic I want to go over with you. Have you had your little cameos? Have you done any more walk-on background acting since the last time we've seen you? Since the last time you saw me, I saw you in September. I don't know if I would have done the new Castle Rock yet, but that's since aired. So I saw him. That was we Where's Waldo, you? Exactly. I was just you can spot me a couple times in the last episode that just aired on Wednesday or whatever. It's the last episode of the season. Since then, I haven't done anything, but I'm sure if the show is well received, they'll do a 3rd season, and hopefully I'll get to do that. Yeah, man.
gonna be fun as hell.
Nice.
Oh, it's so much fun.
Dude, I bet. Come on, like you're you.
Well said.
You are Jared. You are the man. So, before we let you go, I want to let you know, plug everything. Have, where can we find the album? Let the people know everywhere.
So the album, like I said, it just came out. It's called Waiting Me Out. It just came out on the 6th of this month. You can stream it or download it pretty much anywhere you would find music, assuming you're not going to like Borders or Barnes & Noble or Strawberries. Other than that, you'll find it. Yeah, I mean, it's on Apple Music, Spotify, iTunes, all that stuff. You can go to my Bandcamp and find it. And yeah, I'm proud of all the records I put out, but this one particularly feels special. So I hope it's as well received as it has been so far. And I mean, I really appreciate you saying you've listened to that one song a ton.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I'll tell you, it's just like, and again, you have that one song that just, like I said, it just captures me sort of to a point. Like, everybody has that one song from that one artist. This is like my one song that
Beautiful.
I really love it, dude. Like, I'm not even kidding when I tell you, like, I'm like, have you heard this? Have you heard this? Like, I go to people at work and I'm like, yeah, that's cool, blah, blah, blah. Cell phones. But have you heard my buddy Jared?
That is so funny. Oh, dude, speaking of which, I've been, so I work at a coffee shop. I do, several different gigs to supplement my income, but I work at a coffee shop, and I've been, since it came out, I've been shamelessly just sneaking it onto the radio there, the sound system. And I want to have it, CDs for sale at the counter. But I haven't had those up yet, so I've just been seeing if anyone's gonna like look it up or like Shazam it. And just the other day, a few days ago, I put it on, and this dude who was doing some computer work at the counter, all of a sudden comes up to the counter with his phone in hand, and he's just like turning it to me and like looking back at me like this, and he's like, "But how did I just Shazammed it? And it's you, but." What? It was priceless.
Yeah.
And it's shameful that I put it on, but I also just want to get as many people listening to it as possible.
Come on,
yeah,
man.
it's a little embarrassing, but again, I did it. I'm not too good for it apparently, and he was so funny about it.
I don't think there's anything shameful about, you worked really hard, man. You should be proud of it.
I'm definitely proud
Put
of
it
it.
out
Yeah.
there. I mean,
Promote yourself.
I put it out there. I'm like, I put your song out there. I mean, sometimes I'll be listening to our own podcast, Like,
you go.
I just got into doing that, and I hate it. Like, you ever feel that way? You write a song, and you're just like, yeah, I don't want to hear myself.
All the time.
Yeah,
Every
exactly.
time.
He doesn't get it someday. He'll be like, Chris, you need to listen to the episodes. And I'll be like, no, I was there.
I was there. I know.
But now I'm like recently, like I said, I have a different podcast. It's very intimate, and I love it. And I listened to it the other night before I fell asleep, and it was mostly because it's just DJ Chop Saws and I, and we have such a beautiful conversation about real life and anxiety. And whenever I don't have a guest, it's been received so well that going forward, he will be the only person in the room with me when we talk. And when we have a guest, it'll be definitely segmented towards the guest. But I think that a lot of people just felt so good about it. Like, just because I feel like I'm really open about it, where I'm like, yes, I suffer from anxiety, and I suffer from a lot of horrible mental illnesses. And like, it's been to the point where people have reached out like privately, and I'm not going to name the people who have, but it makes me feel so good to know, that people did that.
As it should, yeah.
It's like, I love you guys. Like, it's like, that's where my passion finally came back. So I started listening to myself, and now I'm happy. I'm like, I don't care if anybody says, I love that podcast. This podcast, I like it. But I feel like I hate when I hear myself, because I have days where I come home from work and the last thing I want to hear is like, what's up? What's going on? What's up, everybody? That's the joke, and I want to stop it so bad.
The thing, though.
I will stop. Episode 50 will be the last time.
Episode 50.
Episode 50, we are going to have a new intro. And that's it.
Gotta get on it.
Right now. Hey everybody, we're here with CT Casual.
I'm gonna do
and,
very-
We're gonna introduce our new guest, Jared Knapik. Jared,
This episode's brought to
Yeah,
you
we
by.
understand that you've got some new material today that you'd
Oh
like to share
my
with,
God.
the rest of the
Jesus
the-
Christ.
You sound like
Getting
Stewie
quieter
Griffin
and
when he's
quieter.
like, do you remember Stewie Griffin when he's like talking about to Brian that novel? It's like a real old episode of Family Guy. He's like, "What's up, Brian? You wrote that little novel about some character development. Maybe friends become enemies, enemy becomes friends. In the end, they learn more about themselves than ever before." That's what you sound like.
He sounded like to me. He sounded. You ever watch Parks and Rec?
I never saw it.
There's this like one little small part, but they go on the radio and there's just this guy in the radio station. He goes, "This is Thoughts by Thoughts. I'm Stephen Richmond, and I'm gonna play you jazz. Mixes jazz with a little extra jazz." And it's just like this mess of jazz starts playing, and then they're like, "Why did you play all three?" And he's just like, "Our records show." People really like jazz. Oh my God!
Like jazz?
We're gonna get to an. Hey, he knows all about that. Don't you love? You love that guy. But with that being said, like I said, go check out Jared's new EP. It's available on all streaming platforms. Right?
That's correct.
Perfect. And then again, link to the description to Heart of Stone. The music video is in the link below. You just checked it out on our channel. Thank you guys for everything. Have a great week.
Connecticut Casual.